Let me welcome you here in my YouTube channel, My Tech Toolbox. Good day. I am glad that you find it here to enhance your personal and professional competencies, and I also hope that you are just fine as well. Hello there. I'm glad to have connected with you again. In our last two videos, we've discussed project execution with the topics on project mobilization and project construction. May I invite you to watch those very informative project implementation relevant videos. Today we will discuss about project monitoring and control, which is about how project implementers ensure a successful project execution. Let us start by looking back at the project lifecycle process that begins with the initiation phase, followed by the planning phase, then the execution phase together with the monitoring and control phase, ending with the completion phase. We have to take note that the monitoring and control phase should start at the same time with project execution phase. The chart depicts an actual project implementation operation where the project monitoring and control activities engages with both the planning and execution activities. Constant monitoring is undertaken on the execution activities based on what are stated in the project plan, and constant reporting is fed into a controlling process for evaluation. Any findings from the control process will create an action plan. Control will then communicate the action plan to execution and planning processes for appropriate action. This loop process, which is continued until the project execution is successfully completed. A project will only be successfully completed when all project parameters such as its scope, budget, and due date are satisfactorily achieved and the project sponsors and stakeholders' expectations were met. However, some projects failed to achieve its objectives and expectations because of some reasons or factors. Reasons why some projects fail. The chart reveals the result of recent survey on the top reasons or factors why some projects fail. I see that lack of monitoring, scope creep, risk management, and disregarding warning signs are on the top reasons of project failure among the many others. With that information, monitoring and control during project implementation should be continuously undertaken to be able to detect and address potential failure areas so that a project can be completed successfully. The two main sub-processes of the project monitoring and control phase is the monitoring and the controlling. Monitoring is the systematic and continuous process of observing, tracking, and recording activities, progress, or performance of a project, program, or system. It involves gathering data at various points to assess if things are on track, identify potential issues early, and inform decision-making. While controlling is the process of evaluating performance by comparing it to established standards and taking corrective action when necessary to ensure that activities align with organizational goals. Therefore, project monitoring and control is the process of tracking, reviewing, and regulating a project's progress and performance. It involves continuously measuring the project's progress against the planned objectives, identifying any deviations or risks, and taking corrective actions to keep the project on track. By implementing robust monitoring and control mechanisms, organizations can significantly increase the chances of delivering projects on time, within budget, and to the required quality standards. Control can be classified into three main types: feed-forward control, concurrent control, and feedback control, each fulfilling unique roles in promoting efficient management and the attainment of goals. 1. Feed-forward control. Feed-forward control is a proactive management process that anticipates potential deviations and takes corrective action before they occur. This method involves identifying potential issues, analyzing their causal factors, developing preventive measures, and continuously evaluating their effectiveness. By recognizing possible obstacles or deviations from the desired outcome, understanding their root causes and contributing factors, and implementing strategies to prevent their occurrence, feed-forward control helps to ensure successful outcomes. 2. Concurrent control is applied by establishing standards, undertake real-time monitoring, and implementing immediate appropriate or corrective action. In establishing standards, project implementers have to define a performance expectations and quality benchmarks for synchronized or simultaneous control. For real-time monitoring, a continuous observation operations have to be performed to ensure that work processes adhere to pre-established standards. Monitoring reports shall be constantly created and communicated to designated control units. Immediate appropriate or corrective action shall be implemented upon to address deviations promptly to maintain control over ongoing works or processes. 3. Feedback control activates when control measures are needed based on reports and performance evaluations. This is done by implementing control mechanisms to monitor and regulate processes and outcomes. The effectiveness of feedback control measures is evaluated through regular assessments and feedback loops. Control strategies are adjusted based on feedback to maintain or improve performance. Ensure that control measures align with organizational goals and comply with industry standards. Now, let's continue this discussion on the details of the monitoring and the controlling processes. Project monitoring and control involves several key steps to ensure a project stays on track. These steps typically include establishing metrics and standards, tracking performance, analyzing data, identifying issues and risks, implementing corrective actions, and reporting progress. These steps help manage the project's scope, schedule, budget, and quality while proactively addressing potential problems. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the process. 1. Define metrics and standards by establishing key performance indicators, KPIs, and set quality standards. 2. Track project performance by comparing actual performance against planned performance. Monitor key aspects of the project. Use project management tools. 3. Analyze performance data by examining collected data to identify trends. Analyze the impact of deviations on the project. 4. Identify issues and risks by basing on performance analysis. Develop mitigation program or activities. 5. Implement corrective actions by formulating appropriate or corrective actions. Corrective actions may include adjusting the schedule, budget, scope, or resources. 6. Report on project progress by regularly communicating the project's status to stakeholders, updating them about the project performance status. Project monitoring and control provides numerous benefits, including timely issue identification and resolution, optimized resource utilization, risk mitigation, and enhanced decision-making. It also improves stakeholder management, ensures quality assurance, and helps manage changes effectively. Ultimately, it increases the likelihood of project success by keeping projects on track, within budget, and aligned with objectives. This is a typical monitoring and control chart, which is mostly used by project implementers. There are two sub-processes, the monitoring and the controlling processes. The monitoring process consists of 3 tasks: defining metrics and standards, track project performance, and analyze performance data. The controlling process also consists of 3 tasks: identify issues and risk, implement corrective actions, and report on project progress. While these 2 processes work on continuous loop, the monitoring process precedes, while the controlling process trails. This process is performed in succession because the monitoring output becomes the input of the controlling process. Some schemes assigns the definition of metrics and standards and the analyzing performance data to the controlling process. This leaves the monitoring process the tracking and analyzing of performance. On what scheme to follow is discretionary to the project manager. Let us continue our discussion on the essential details of the monitoring and the controlling processes. Project monitoring is the systematic and continuous process of observing, tracking, and recording activities, progress, or performance of a project, program, or system. It involves gathering data at various points to assess if things are on track, identify potential issues early, and inform decision-makers. Monitoring is continuous from the start to the end phase. This process is usually taken care of by the supervisor. The project monitoring information should be shared with the team leaders, team coworkers, and stakeholders so that they can also have a clear view about the ongoing project performance and help them in making a two-way flow of project monitoring for a well-organized implementation. Monitoring is the systematic and continuous process and performs vital tasks of 1. Observing and tracking of project execution activities. 2. Recording of operational activities and progress. 3. Reporting performance of a project. It involves gathering data at various points. Assess if project progress are on track. Identify potential issues early. Create reports such as prompt or emergency reports, regular progress reports, and on-demand project progress reports. These data, information, and reports are communicated to relevant control units, decision makers, and other concerned stakeholders. Purpose of project monitoring. Project monitoring plays a critical role in the success of any project as it ensures that the project remains aligned with its objectives, timelines, and budget. It helps project managers track progress, manage resources effectively, and quickly address any potential risks or issues that arise. The three main purposes of monitoring are: 1. To measure performance against established targets and standards. 2. To identify deviations from expected results and to make necessary adjustments. 3. To provide feedback to process owners and stakeholders on the effectiveness of processes and on areas for improvement. Having known the definition and purpose of monitoring, let's discuss what are the different strategies or schemes in monitoring project implementation. Let us enumerate the 10 essential project monitoring techniques that can significantly improve your project outcomes. These strategies will help you maintain control over your projects and drive them towards success. 1. Establishing clear key performance indicators, KPIs. 2. Implementing milestone tracking. 3. Utilizing resource management techniques. 4. Utilizing earned value management, EVM. 5. Implementing change control processes. 6. Leveraging visual project monitoring tools. 7. Conducting regular risk assessments. 8. Implementing regular status reporting. 9. Conducting regular team check-ins. 10. Conducting post-project reviews. To sum up these 10 strategies, effective project monitoring is a multifaceted discipline that requires a combination of techniques, tools, and practices. Controlling, in a management context, is the process of evaluating performance by comparing it to established standards and taking corrective action when necessary to ensure that activities align with organizational goals. It's a crucial function that helps project implementers ensure that resources are used effectively and efficiently, and that work is progressing as planned. There is a 5-step procedure for controlling processes that will help you set, measure, and tweak your business activities. 1. Set performance standards. Standards are like goals tasked to a specific department or team member. They must achieve these standards through cooperation, teamwork, and a collaborative effort. There are 2 groups of standards: tangible or specific, and intangible or abstract. The former is measurable. You can see it and count it. The latter cannot be seen nor counted. 2. Measure performance. Setting a standard makes it possible to measure performance using a control function. Through this measurement of performance, you can quickly catch and correct any deviation from the plan before it goes off track and runs production into the ground. Measurements are easier when dealing with tangible standards that can be seen and counted. This is naturally more difficult with intangible standards such as manager or supervisor's performance, team attitude towards work or team morale, communications with the team, team members' relationship, and team's loyalty towards the company. 3. Compare actual performance against performance standards and determine the extent of deviations. This is called performance variance. Project schedules can be very helpful when it comes to analyzing variance. Using Gantt charts so you can see at a glance if you are ahead or behind schedule. Plus, the Gantt updates in real time as your team completes their work. 4. Analyze deviations. This step is where you analyze data using the acceptable limits. If there is a gap between planned and actual performance, the next step is figuring out what is causing it and what the extent of it is. Then, you have to determine how this deviation is impacting the project. If the difference is only a small one, then it's probably okay to ignore it. But if the gap reflects gains, appointing workers, changing or repairing equipment, and other critical issues, it must be addressed. 5. Implement corrective actions. After the deviations were analyzed and its cause determined, a plan shall be set up in which corrective measures, critical point control, and other means are used to address the cause. This is to reduce the deviation and ensure the standard is met. This might involve changes to processes and/or behaviors. Therefore, Actions might be needed immediately because of the urgency. Appropriate or corrective actions include a variety of activities. It's important that managers monitor and control the effectiveness of corrective actions to ensure that it eliminates the causes or issues and brings back the project on track. The five-step controlling process in management is crucial for ensuring that organizational goals are achieved effectively and efficiently. This process helps in optimizing resource utilization, identifying and rectifying errors, improving employee motivation, and facilitating strategic decision-making. 5 critical project controls. Successful project management relies on effective project controls to keep deliverables on track, within budget, and aligned with quality expectations. Below are 5 critical project controls. Scope control is vital to maintaining a clear focus on project deliverables and avoiding unnecessary expansions that derail timelines and budgets. This process ensures that all activities align with the agreed-upon scope, minimizing scope creep and preserving project objectives. 2. Cost control. Projects often fail due to budget overruns, making cost control an indispensable element of project management. By monitoring actual expenditures against planned budgets, cost control ensures that financial resources are allocated efficiently. 3. Schedule control. Time management is at the heart of any successful project, and schedule control ensures that tasks are completed on time. This involves monitoring timelines, identifying potential delays, and implementing corrective measures to maintain momentum. 4. Quality control. Delivering a project on time and within budget is not enough if the end product fails to meet quality expectations. Quality control involves testing, reviewing, and inspecting outputs to ensure they meet defined standards. 5. Risk control. Every project comes with uncertainties, and effective risk management can mean the difference between success and failure. Risk control involves identifying potential issues, assessing their impact, and implementing mitigation strategies. In conclusion, by integrating these 5 project controls, scope, cost, schedule, quality, and risk, into your project management framework, you create a roadmap for success. Each control serves a critical purpose, from aligning stakeholder expectations to managing resources effectively and delivering high-quality results. Challenges in project monitoring, evaluation, and control. Controlling a project is just one of the many things to do on a long list of project management tasks. However, like many other elements of project management, it's an important step to ensure work is moving along smoothly. That said, controlling a project can come with its own challenges along the way that can make it more difficult to accurately evaluate roadblocks and provide solutions. Let's look at some of the most common challenges in controlling a project. Data accuracy. Collecting accurate and up-to-date data is important in complex projects, but can be difficult to do when there's more than one source of data. Scope creep. Projects are prone to changes along the way, making it a challenge to monitor and control the progress against an original plan when plans are always fluid or if a project's scope isn't clearly defined from the start. Resource constraints. Having limited resources like personnel, budget, and even time can make project controlling less effective, leading to inaccurate assessments. Reporting. Project implementers need to be on top of multiple reports during the monitoring and controlling process to gather different types of data, and consolidating all this data can be time-consuming and prone to error, especially when done manually. Miscommunication. Using too many work tools can lead to a break in communication and make performance assessments harder to track and less reliable, especially if reporting is on one tool, chats are on another, and you're tracking tasks on a third. The best way to avoid these roadblocks and others is to prepare your project from the start, including making a plan for how you'll continuously monitor and control it by setting clear objectives and trackable metrics. Additionally, using a platform that allows you to do everything in one place will help you avoid the pitfalls of broken communication, manual reporting, and a lack of accurate data, thus undertaking ineffective corrective actions. We have discussed some depth definitions, processes, methods, and other nuances of project monitoring and control. Let us take note of a popular process concept of garbage in, garbage out. That units and personnel who are involved in the monitoring and control processes shall ensure the reliability of the data and information they create or generate, else they will just contribute to the many other causes of project failure. Summary. As we have already mentioned, it is crucial to implement a robust monitoring and control process to ensure project success. This process begins with clearly delineating key performance indicators, KPIs, from the beginning. These indicators provide a way to measure the project's progress compared to set goals, providing quantifiable metrics to assess the progress and effectiveness of the activities carried out. Using appropriate monitoring tools, such as project management software, facilitates the collection of accurate and up-to-date data on different activities. These tools not only automate information collection, but also offer advanced data analysis and visualization features, making it easier for the project manager to find significant trends and patterns. During the different monitoring phases, the project manager must carefully analyze the collected data to pinpoint any deviations from the initial plan. This involves constantly comparing actual and planned results. If any major discrepancies are found, timely corrective actions must be implemented to get the project back on the right track. Complex data and a thorough analysis of the causes of deviations must support this decision-making process. It is also critical to monitor potential risks that may arise during project execution. This requires constant attention to internal and external variables that could adversely affect the project. Effective communication with the team and stakeholders is pivotal to ensuring everyone is aligned and aware of any changes or actions. Visual tools such as the Gantt chart can graphically portray timelines and dependencies between activities. This assists in overall planning and control by providing a clear view of deadlines, responsibilities, and interrelationships between different project parts. And ultimately, accurate monitoring and control help the project manager make informed decisions and keep the project aligned with initial objectives. This proactive approach increases the chances of project success, helps optimize resources, and improves stakeholder satisfaction. In closing, may I thank you for spending your precious time in this session. I am encouraging you to watch many of our competencies-enhancing videos. Once more, thank you very much. Shalom. Before leaving, may I thank you for the time you invested here. Should you still have questions and clarifications to ask, write me in the comment below or email me at mytechtoolbox@gmail.com. If you have learned something useful, please give us a like. That's one way to support this channel. You can also share this video to your friends to learn. Subscribe now so you will be notified of every new videos we post in YouTube. Thank you and good luck.